up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Don't let that team stand in the way. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh! Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on a Thursday. I'm Brandon Beam, hanging out with my guy Patrick Murphy. We are live over at Yogi's in Grandview. $3 Coors Light draft specials all the way until 8 o'clock. Come and hang out with us and our guy Nate, Dog, and Isaiah back in the studio this evening. Patrick, happy Football Thursday to you, my friend. What's happening?
Nothing. Glad to be back. We haven't been at Yogi's in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So actually, I haven't been in probably 3 weeks now with Big Ten Media Days and whatnot. So happy to be here. Looking at this beer again, I forgot how tempting that is.
Satiating, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll make it through.
Absolutely.
Exciting.
How's your week been? All right?
It's been good, yeah.
Probably
yeah.
busy. Had a lot of stuff going on with Buckeye Camp. It was D-Line Day today over at the Woody.
Yes, it is full go over at the Woody, not only for the team, which is obviously preparing for that game, but we have interviews 2 or 3 times a week. It's not summertime anymore, despite how it feels outside. So I love this time of year, getting ready. Everyone's optimistic. I look around at some of our 24/7 sports other sites, kind of, especially the Big Ten sites. Like everyone, there's all sorts of positivity, except at the Illinois side. I noticed today there's some injuries that they've had in fall camp. So
you'll never find anyone more positive about Illinois than this show right here. I'm all in. I'm kind of all in on Illinois this year.
Yeah, I think if they're healthy, that's a really good team. And I don't like the comparison to Indiana because Indiana surprised people.
Yeah.
This is not an Illinois team that's going to surprise people because everyone's been talking about them all offseason. But I do think they could be a team that, like Indiana, could potentially be an outside team to crash the college football playoff.
Do you think the reason why people are comparing Illinois to Indiana is just because of the name recognition? Like when you think of the Big Ten, right? I think you think of Ohio State, you think of now Oregon, think of USC, even though I have mega questions about Lincoln Riley, and I'm sure that you do as well. You think about Penn State, the amount of hype that they've been getting here this offseason. Like, they're just not a traditional team that you think about as a riser in college football. And I think that that's a natural comparison to make. Like, Illinois could be Indiana this year, but nobody was talking about Indiana doing what they did at the end of last year, at the beginning of this year. It was all making fun of Kurt Cignetti for his Google Meet comments.
Exactly. And I think, it's an established coach, too, at Illinois, who's done it in the Big Ten, done it to some degree in the SEC.
Got jobbed at Wisconsin.
Yeah, so I think that they could emulate some of what Indiana does. It is interesting because they do play mid-season.
I think it's week 4.
Yeah, so
it's the first Big Ten game for both teams.
You've got the battle for who's going to be Indiana in 2025.
Is it going to be Indiana or is it going to be Illinois?
Yeah, but we'll see about that. We'll see what they injuries and whatnot. Hopefully, it didn't look like anything was too serious. I just saw one of the articles about updates from Bielema about fall camp injuries and the concern levels.
Yeah, and that's always not a dangerous part of camp, right? But it's everyone's least favorite part of training camp when you get into it is injuries. And we had the injury scare with Edric Houston, and so far so good on the Buckeye front, but nobody is immune to it, of course. We got a great show lined up for you here tonight. We'll hear from Larry Johnson coming up here in our next segment. It was D-Line Day, like I said, today over at the Woody, so we'll hear from him. And what about the development plan this offseason? And I thought it was interesting because he did have a unique perspective on kind of what was going on and the off-season fodder. So we'll get to him coming up here around 6:17. Bill Bender, the Sporting News, he's going to join the program at 6:30. More of a national perspective. What is Bill looking forward to? We're just a few days away now from week 0, Pat. 9 days away from the kickoff for week 0, and then 16 days for week 1. So ask Bill all about the stuff going on here. Pat, your thoughts moving forward. We'll do that at 6:46, what you're looking forward to in the second scrimmage. And then the 7 o'clock hour, we will get to the Michigan news, non-news. It's non-news right now because the press conference is tomorrow for the NCAA, but we'll get to that in the Pulse at 7 o'clock. Hear from Ryan Day a little bit earlier in the week at 7:17. Then we'll do some hoops talk. More Oasis talk, actually. Adam Jardy of the Columbus Dispatch, he will join the program. Ohio State released their non-conference men's basketball schedule yesterday, so we'll check in with our guy, Adam Jardy, at 7:30. So far, so today, Pat, just through the week, what has been your biggest takeaways? Had Ryan Day on Monday. I had the offensive line on Tuesday, which seemed to be pretty interesting, getting to talk to Tyler Bowen, one of the few times that you guys have been able to talk to him since he came over here to Ohio State. Some pretty big news that Austin Sareveld is exclusively now working at left tackle. What did you take away from all of that to come out of the offensive line stuff on Tuesday?
Right. I think that was certainly the headline, that you've got a guy who last season was playing both guard positions. Most of the offseason, it looked like, was playing right tackle. Now, all of a sudden, here, partway through camp, he's on the left side in Austin Sareveld. Not entirely surprising. I think you are at a point in fall camp when you can still be trying some things out, right? And if you weren't dead set on Ethan Onionu, and I'm not saying that they're not. Maybe we get to Texas and that's your left tackle and he plays great against Colin Simmons and you roll from there. But if you weren't, why not experiment a little bit? And they talked a lot about the primary, secondary positions. You've already kind of established that Austin Sareveld can play guard. Then you saw him at tackle, especially on the right. Now, let's see what he can do there if we think we don't for sure have our guy already. I think that's what's going on. But I think regardless, this is still, as we've talked about a lot, like pretty talented, deep offensive line room.
Very talented,
dare
very
we say deep, given what happened last year. You hope that depth doesn't get tested in the way it did, but...
Well, I will say this. If it does get tested the way it did, I know that those guys in the building feel pretty confident that it won't be as much of a roller coaster ride as it was last season. Even listening to some of the defensive linemen today, Pat, and their media availabilities, and I think it was Edric Houston who was asked about it, like, name one offensive player that's kind of surprised you. And he kind of looked around and he was like, I don't know if there's one offensive guy, but the entire offensive line, whether it's the ones, it's the twos, like whoever they're rolling through, he's like, they give us a fight, and they actually are kind of like coaching us, like, hey, if you do this move, then we're going to come back with this move. So to your point, like it does seem like it's the deepest, and really everybody's kind of been on that train a little bit since the start of fall camp.
Yeah, and Caden McDonald, I think same question. He went a bit more specifically with Carson Hinsman. Those two are obviously head-to-head. But then he just started listing guys, and it was like, oh, you just hit on all of the guys that are probably going to play this year, which, again, goes into the optimism of this time of year. Everybody is excited. You're playing against each other in fall camp every day. But that also doesn't mean it's wrong and that these guys aren't really battling and really making each other better, which I think is the fun part. So certainly those two, the trenches, going to be huge. I think the quarterback battle,
You think it's trending?
Cautiously optimistic we might hear something Monday from Ryan Day. I think that would be the ideal time. Like we talked about it before. If you look back at what days he's done it, it's usually after that second scrimmage. Yeah. Now, just because he's done it that way before doesn't mean anything, but it does sound like Julian Sains had some good practices consecutively, which we've talked about the need for consistency from him. So if that continues, I think you could read the tea leaves. Again, if it continues, because he's got to do it this week in the scrimmage on Saturday, and then we'll hear from Ryan Day Monday.
Well, I think it was such a monster week for Ohio State, and especially the quarterback position, Pat, because, you start to look at the clock, right? Mm-hmm. And you get through the Notre Dame game, and then the clock all of a sudden flips to zeros in the national championship game, and then it starts ticking down towards Texas. And so that clock, if you don't have a quarterback come Monday or after the scrimmage on Saturday, then I think the real question becomes, well, when/if a starter is going to be announced, because now you go from having 2 weeks of training camp where you're really working on yourself. Sure, you can do some Texas install and you can do some game plan, but when you get 2 weeks out of a game of this magnitude, I'm guessing in that building there's going to be more Texas install than it is trying to work on what they're trying to do. So where does it become, all right, we got to quit experimenting and we just have to go with the guy? Or, no one has come away from this competition so far, and now we're less than 2 weeks out, we're 12 days out, all of a sudden we don't have a guy. Well, we don't know when that guy's when it's going to be. Now we got to let him play through the season.
I think my concern level starts to take off if we get to the Monday of the Texas game week and Ryan Day doesn't come out and say this is the guy. Even if it's like Kyle McCord when he was like,
he will start the game.
He will start the game. Devin Brown's going to play. Okay, just for example, Julian Sain's going to start the game. We're going to go to Lincoln at times. This isn't done yet. But I at least expect that day to hear, okay, this is our starter for this game.
You're saying the Monday of Texas week?
At the that's if it doesn't happen.
I guess that would be Tuesday of Texas week.
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah. If it doesn't happen, then that's when I'm kind of like, are we getting into 2015 territory? And like, you're not gonna. I don't think Ryan Day would go that far. I also don't think Ryan Day wants to play 2 quarterbacks. Like, I don't think he has. I mean, we saw it with Common Core. He said all of the things.
It just doesn't really work.
You need the Tim Tebow, Chris Leak situation. There are some examples, right? And maybe this is one because of Lincoln's athleticism, but I just think Lincoln's not like a JT Barrett early on in his career when there's a lot of running, or Tebow early in his career. I just don't see him that way. Like, if you're going to have him in there, he's going to throw and pass. If you're going to have Julian in there, he's athletic enough to move around.
It's not just going to be a straight running quarterback.
Right. So, if we don't hear that Ryan Day press conference, I guess it is probably Tuesday, of the Texas game week, that's when I'm a little concerned about, okay, where is this going? Why haven't they found somebody yet? And that doesn't necessarily mean they don't have somebody. It's just, again, I keep saying this, I think they're both really good, but I think by that point you should have enough data to be like, this is the guy we're going to go with, at least for now.
I think that they have enough data, probably not the fact that they have enough data to make a decision, but I'm sure they have enough data to be closing in on one at this point. Defensive line coach Larry Johnson has a development plan for this season. It's been in the works for a while now. You're going to hear from him coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon. Even if this promo is playing in the morning, no judgment.
Oh, sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, you might not be big on technology, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Maybe you've gone through a divorce or a bad breakup, or a relative moved out. It's been hard, and you just want to take what you want and leave the rest behind. I will help you. Retiring and want to sell your commercial properties or land. I will help you. Sellers, whether you're selling as is or selling for top dollar, you're no longer alone. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut, to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Buckeye Roundtable returns Monday, August 25th. Join Paul Keels, Jim Lachey, and Skip Mossick as they break down every aspect of Ohio State football. Oh, and a guy named Ryan Day calls in.
Presented by Burger King.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
At Kroger, an annual Boost membership is better than ever. Save up to $1,100 each year on gas, groceries, delivery fees, and streaming options. With double fuel points, unlimited free delivery, and exclusive savings for members, there's so much to love about Boost. Sign up for a Boost membership today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Fan weather from the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens with your latest forecast. We're looking at pretty quiet weather this evening and into tonight. Temperatures out there dropping into the mid to upper 60s. We'll be back into the low 90s for Friday. Plenty of sunshine hanging around the low 90s again on Saturday. Still pretty sunny. As we get into Sunday, mid 90s could return with a pop-up or two possible, with chances for more rain increasing next week. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
The best damn radio show in the land. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Hanging out at Yogi's in Grandview. Come and hang out with myself and Patrick Murphy until 8 o'clock. We got $3 Coors Light draft specials all the way until 8. We got some food over there, Pat. We got some nachos. We got some pretzel sticks. Were you diving into loaded fries?
Yeah, they had to pull me back to continue the show.
Yeah,
otherwise, you were going to be alone here as I just munched on food for a couple segments.
Well, I mean, if they don't let us ingest some barley biscuits with the Coors Lights, the least that can happen is you shovel some French fries down your beak. You were over at Ohio State camp today, Pat. Before we get to some Larry Johnson sound, what was your biggest takeaways? Because I know that this offseason has been interesting, right? Not a lot of position groups around the country, and especially positions like Ohio State lose 4 starters who had started for a long time and played a lot of football. I mean, Austin and I were looking at snap counts last night between the 4 starters, Ty, and then Jack and JT, and they played. I want to say that Tyleik Williams and Ty Hamilton had more snaps themselves than the rest of the interior defensive linemen combined.
Yes.
So it was fascinating getting to hear from Larry Johnson today. What did you, I guess, glean from what he had to say, from what the defensive lineman had to say today?
I thought it was interesting. He got asked by Dave Biddle about that lack of depth. And he, I'm sure we'll go to it, but just it doesn't seem to be as big of a concern. Now, he said we've got the bodies. We just have to develop these guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we often forget. Like, Tywan Malone hasn't hit in 2 seasons, so, he's probably not that good, right? But these guys do get better. And you can go from one season to another, even an older guy. It's not just young guys that improve during the offseason. So even older guys can develop and start to help with at least that depth. And you've got Will Smith Jr., who we talked to. I thought he was really honest just about, he felt like he had to prove himself at Ohio State, which is crazy because his dad obviously played here.
Right.
He was out at the camps, going into his senior year of high school all the time and looked the part doing it. So, he has sort of a chip on his shoulder. He was also wearing some sort of shoulder sleeve. He must be dealing with an injury there, but had been out at practice. So I think my biggest thing is that they aren't as concerned about this defensive tackle depth as maybe we've talked about, which isn't entirely surprising. I think when you see it every day and you start to see guy from, defensive tackle from the beginning of spring to now, you're like, I can see the improvements, so I'm less concerned about that. We see a little bit here and there in the spring. We see a little bit in fall camp.
Yeah, I mean, they're living it every day.
Yeah, so you get that development. You understand why, hey, this guy can do some things. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway is it may not be as big of a concern in the building as it's been outside of it.
Nate, we're going to go to 45804 here, and it's exactly what Pat was talking about. Bids asked this question, what we've all been wondering during the offseason, the questions about the lack of depth on the defensive line.
Lack of depth means that we don't have it. We have depth. lack of experience, what we don't have, right? So that's not lack of depth. So you have to build from within. So what we're trying to do is build depth through experience and practice. But the bodies are there. You know, I mean, they just haven't played football. You know, so we have the depth. We have 6 guys I think can go play. We got to get those guys ready to go play. So to me, it's not about building depth. It's kind of get these guys ready to play. So that's a little different than just building.
Who are those 6 guys?
Well, there's guys that work on K-Mac. Those guys are working really hard. Edger's working really hard. Our Jarquez, a young guy. You know, there's a lot of guys start throwing names out. But my thing is that if I can get 6 guys to play as one, we have a good deal. And that's the whole approach, because we don't know who's going to be the ones, who's going to be the 2s, who's going to be the 3s. It's all about driving them to understand what it takes to play in that first game. And that's our whole focus. We're not worrying about how many reps they haven't had, how many games they haven't played. The whole idea is to get them ready to play one game, and hopefully we can carry from there. And so we're pushing the envelope as hard as we can right now.
Yeah, I bet they are, because they kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
And it was interesting, too, the more that he dove in about it, and I know that we'll hear more from Larry Johnson, but he was like, we kind of missed a recruiting class in all of this, because we weren't expecting necessarily all 4 of these guys to come back. Maybe you're expecting 1, 2, 3 to come back. I don't think anybody was expecting all 4 between Tyleik Williams, Ty Hamilton, Jack Sawyer, and JT Tuimoloau all to come back, and they did. And so when you have that, you kind of miss a recruiting class, and he's like, well, I mean, it ended up with the national championship. It ended up very good. A lot of those guys, Pat, they all played a ton of snaps.
Right.
It was a very different strategy than what we had seen in the past with Larry Johnson and rotating consistently. And so that's what this challenge is for this defensive line group, is getting them physically ready. And Larry Johnson was adamant that they have been attacking this fall camp. They attacked summer, they attacked spring, knowing that that could be a potential issue.
And I think that's one thing, too. Like, Larry Johnson, known for rotating, but he hasn't always done it. Like, he doesn't have the guys to do it, and he believes in his starters like he did a year ago. I think even the year before that, those guys played a lot. I went back at one point in the offseason and looked at, like, the last 5 or 6 years, and, like, some years, lots of rotation. Some years, you lean on your main guys, and it just kind of depends. Now, Caden McDonald, Edric Houston, as much as we believe in them, they haven't really done it either in that
and they were talking about that
role
today.
Right. Like, they have to not only physically be ready for the increased workload in a position that's really going to pound on your body, but also
they
mentally.
Look like they're ready.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And I'm not saying this to concern Buckeye fans at all, but you just need to see it in a game, in a real game, and you will very quickly here. But I do think if he believes in those 2 starters and he's not as confident in those other guys, he can ride that, and we saw the success that can have last year. But I do think they will have more depth than we expect.
It was interesting, Nate. We're going to go to 45800 here, one at the top. They've been developing this plan, really knowing that all 4 of their guys are going to leave this offseason because they had to. They've been developing this plan for these guys, for this class, for this season. They've been developing it all offseason.
So the springtime was trying to build fundamental skill set, make sure to understand the game, because the guys have never been in the game. As we started fall camp, I kind of gone away from that. Really just kind of pushed the envelope, right? How hard can we play on the regular downs? How hard can we play on 3rd down? It's trying to make sure they understand that it doesn't matter how many plays they play. If we can develop those reps in practice, going really hard, practicing really hard, I feel real confident we'll have a chance to go play in Texas and play full speed. And so my process has been like I am pushing them to the envelope, pushing them to the tilt to understand what it takes to play in a big time. They don't know yet. Now, there'll be jitters going into the first game, but if I can handle the fundamentals of being tough, getting off blocks, running to the ball, I mean, that's the base of who we are. It don't take any talent to do that.
All right, so anything that Larry Johnson says, and he's probably had just about every scenario you could possibly wonder about in college football. If this has been a straight-up game plan, development plan for not these only 4 guys, 4 new starters across the defensive line, but this unit as a whole, Pat, I tend to believe that whatever development plan that he has going into a season is probably best fit for his guys.
Yes. This is not his first rodeo.
No.
By far.
Kind of like this. It's the first time I'm sure he's replacing 4 starters and the amount of snaps that these guys have played through a career, but he's seen mostly everything.
Yeah, I would be interested to go back, and I don't know if he got asked about this, but has he ever replaced an entire offensive or defensive line starting group before?
Well, the good news for you is that he was asked.
Okay,
that.
let's
Nate,
hear it.
We will go to 802, and he was asked if he ever lost 4 players and replacing them like this season.
Not like this, because those 4 guys play 4 years, play 3 years, and then what happens is that it stopped, right? So those 4 guys graduate, you hold these guys back because those 4 guys were playing all the time. Then you lost that experience. Then you almost lose a recruiting class because nobody would come because those guys coming back, right? So we in that log that this has got to be the year that we have to build going forward for the future. And I think now is the process. And again, I say this again, I'm not worried about where they're at. It's like, how can I get to the move forward to have an opportunity to play Saturday against Texas? That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest focus right now, all those guys. And they have embraced what we're doing. They embraced what it takes, the expectation, what it takes to be great players. So that's the key.
Listen, we're going to find out, right? I mean,
yes.
The hay's almost in the barn at this point. You're getting ready to get done with camp week number 2.5, 3, whatever it is now. After this weekend, you're going to have under 2 weeks of the Texas game. You're going to get back into classes. Things are going to start ramping up, and then you're going to get into the season. So ultimately, we will find out, Pat, exactly if this strategy did work or didn't work or is a work in process. Because I know that he was adamant today. It's the same thing that you'll hear from every Ohio State coach so far. Like, we are not a finished product. We know that they're not a finished product. Texas isn't going to be a finished product. If you're the same product that you were week number 1 compared to what you were week 12 or a conference championship game or in the playoff, then you're not going to meet your expectations. So, yeah, it will probably be a work in progress, right? But at the same time, like, you just got to go out there and do it at some point.
Absolutely. It's funny you're saying that because I saw on one of the guys that covers Texas for us at 247 tweeted a quote from Colin Simmons, the pass
reigning
rusher.
freshman of the year. Beat out Jeremiah Smith for that.
For
last
Texas,
year.
we'll see him here week 1, and he said, I'm done talking about what I'm going to do or what I want to do. It's time to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's how
still a ways away.
Yeah, but that's how everyone's feeling right now. Like, and I get that sense sometimes as we do these interviews closer to, like, it's interesting because we talk to we go position by position in these interviews, and as you get closer to the season, you can tell these guys are just like, even the guys that haven't really talked yet, it's just like, you know, they've been talking about it amongst themselves. Their families are asking it. You know, they're out and about.
You guys
people.
got Texas coming up week number 1.
Right.
How you feeling?
And it's just like, let's go, let's go. And I think if you're the defensive tackles specifically, you just want to get your chance to show it, right? The starters show it because you haven't done that before. But the guys that are the depth guys, look, they can say all the positive things they want.
Sure.
Like, we're ready to go. They need to go do it. And that's even true with the defensive ends. You know, Kenyatta and Caden, we've seen them, but not like this. We haven't seen Bo Atkinson before in this uniform. We know what he did at North Carolina. C.J. Hicks moving down to play that. Logan George, like all these guys. It's just like, let's get out there and do it. And I think that's kind of where people are starting to get.
We're going to preview the upcoming football season with our national friend, Bill Bender of the Sporting News. He joins us coming up here in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove. Not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. I would know. I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my 2 best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Delaware County Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment? Facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services.
For over 30 years, Schumacher Homes has been building affordable custom homes throughout the Buckeye State. Experience true customization on your land, your way, without any compromises. Come visit any of our 9 Ohio model home and design studio locations to see the latest in design trends and learn about our award-winning building process, or start online at SchumacherHomes.com. You'll be surprised how affordable a custom home will be. Schumacher Homes, proud home building sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
If you still have a weird rash from jumping in Mirror Lake, we can be friends. This is the Buckeye Show.
I think I certainly do, and I know for a fact that Patrick does.
Absolutely.
We're out at Yogi's in Grandview. Come hang out with us until 8 o'clock. $3 Coors Light draft specials, all kinds of good stuff. Right now we head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Check with our great friend. He is at the Sporting News. He is Bill Bender. Bill, always appreciate the time. Which practice are you at this evening, or do you have a night off?
We have a little break here in the action, then we'll get after it here in a few weeks. My daughter starts school tomorrow. It's unbelievable, but we're at that point in the year.
Absolutely we are. I mean, we are cruising along, buddy. We got 9 days before week 0 starts, 16 days until we get to the first week in college football, which is a loaded slate, right? 3 top 10 games. It's going to get you started in the season. We'll talk about the Buckeyes first, Bill, and then we'll kind of go from a national perspective. For you personally, what makes this team the most intriguing to you? What's your biggest question about this 2025 version of Ohio State?
Well, I mean, what will Jeremiah Smith do? You know, honestly, I know that's simple, but is he going to be the type of receiver that can go win a Heisman Trophy and be even better than this line of receivers that they've had at Ohio State? I think, you know, from a practical standpoint, how do you replace that many guys that go to the NFL? Can you truly reload like Georgia and Alabama have been able to do? And then, you know, the flip side of that is like LSU and Michigan weren't able to do that after national titles. And that's something you got to keep an eye on when you lose double-digit guys to the NFL draft.
Bill, Patrick Murphy here, long time. I'm excited to hopefully see you soon. I'm going to ask you sort of two-part question. Is there a team out there that you think is being undervalued heading into the season? And then is there a team that maybe is overvalued and you think might be getting too much hype and we look back at the end of the year like, oh, that probably wasn't the best pick?
Well, if we're just talking about the Big Ten, you know, there's the risk of overvalue with Illinois. We've talked about them all summer with what they got coming back, but all it takes is like an early season loss to Indiana or USC to say, oh, we were wrong about them, and it would be really easy to ditch them. Is USC being undervalued? I'll farm that to you two. I think they can still score. Their schedule's a little friendlier, but, man, they're going to have to learn how to travel across the country and win, which they couldn't do last year.
He is Bill Bender, the Sporting News, with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. See, Bill, I'm kind of all in on Illinois, and I know exactly what you're saying, and Pat and I had this conversation to start off the show. I'm like, I know that they may be being overvalued, and we were reading an article, like they're actually the most overrated team according to ESPN's Football Power Index. Take that with a grain of salt as you may, but they have, like, the Football Power Index has Illinois ranked 44th, and I'm like, well, Indiana came out of nowhere last year. Illinois got here because they went 10-3 last season, bring a lot of their guys back, bring their quarterback back, and also have a coach that's a proven commodity in the Big Ten. And then you compare that to Lincoln Riley and what you just said and maybe being undervalued a little bit. Like, I don't know if Lincoln Riley has shown really anything so far at USC. And I know that they had a tough year last year, and they're kind of throwing all their NIL dollars against the wall and recruiting and everything. But, yeah, I don't know. Both teams are really fascinating because it could go either way. I'm just more inclined to believe in Brett Bielema more so than Lincoln Riley.
You know, but I was looking at that athletics list of billion-dollar programs.
Yeah.
And I was genuinely curious, okay, what is the cutoff point? And USC is still a billion-dollar program that is underachieved. I was talking to Bobby a while back, and a while back is in like 24 hours ago. The notion of USC as like a dominant program is like, do you guys remember that ever being the case other than the Pete Carroll era in my lifetime. I know about the 70s, but yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I wasn't alive when Mike Garrett and O.J. Simpson and those guys were doing their thing. I know all about them in the Pete Carroll era, and that's it.
Yeah, I do too. I'm the same way with you. So I think they were trying to maybe light a fire with Lincoln Riley and that hire, and who knows? I mean, they're on the hook for like 80-some million if it doesn't come to fruition, and I know he's on the hot seat. Bill, as far as we go, other Big Ten teams, how do you kind of prop this race to a Big Ten championship? Is it Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, and the rest, or is there another team kind of in there?
Ohio State, Penn State to start, and, Oregon, obviously, they have the fourth best record among FBS schools the last 3 years. The only three schools that have a better record than Oregon are Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan, the last three national champs. So, I mean, that tells you that's all they got to do is break through and do that. I do think those three are the first tier, and then your second tier is going to be Illinois, Michigan, Indiana. And surprise team, it could be Iowa if this quarterback Gronowski's as good as they're kind of reporting. But they still got to pass the ball a little bit more than that.
Bill, the three games that everyone has circled on Ohio State's schedule, obviously week 1 against Texas, the Penn State game in early November, Michigan at the end of November. Is one of those games more circled multiple times, I guess, for you than the others?
They're probably all circled the same. That's a cop-out answer. But, I mean, obviously Michigan will be circled a little more than the other ones because of, it's in Ann Arbor. Michigan, whatever happens with this ruling tomorrow, we'll know. Just be, like, to me, for Ohio State, the gotcha moment is beating Michigan, which they haven't done in a while. So I think they need to do that. The Penn State game's huge, especially with Jim Knowles. And the wrinkle there, but it's still on Penn State to beat them. And I'm just flat out excited about this Texas game because it is 1 versus 3. It is Arch Manning. There is, I think, guys that were on our All-American teams on the field, and I love games where you have a ton of NFL talent on the field, and we're going to have that at Ohio Stadium at noon, unfortunately, not at 7, but at noon on August 30th.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It should be a spectacle. We spent, I feel like, literally since the end, we did like a week on the national championship, Bill, and then we got to spring ball, and it's like, all right, we got Texas out of the gates and Arch Manning and everyone, and we'll see exactly what it is. Hey, going back to the Michigan situation here real quick, I'm not very familiar with NCAA procedures, Bill. I know that they aren't what they used to be. Is it common for them to hold a press conference to talk about rulings and punishments? Because I was reading the article by Pete Thamel and Dan Wetzel and said they are expected to hold a news conference early Friday. I thought those just usually came out like in a press release. Like, is that weird to you, or am I reading too much into it?
Maybe reading a little too much, or who knows. But, I don't know. I mean, I guess the answer is, and it's the NCAA, so it's super unpredictable, so your guess is as good as mine. I still kind of... You know what I've said? I wrote this for my column tomorrow. If they want to make everybody happy, you have to make everybody unhappy. And the best punishment to do that would be to give Michigan maybe like a bowl ban or a postseason ban for a year, not vacate the wins or the title, hammer the coaches, give them a fine, and that way you nobody's happy. And that means you did it right.
I think it's interesting because the punishment things with all of these, and I'm not just talking about Michigan, like you're punishing players that weren't involved, and in this case, how many of the players that were involved were even fully aware of what was happening? If you were looking at this as Bill Bender, Commissioner of College Football,
I like that title.
What do you think? What would your punishment be for this program with everything that we know about this situation?
That was, like I said, that was kind of the one I came up with was. I might give you a postseason ban, or at minimum, you're getting a heavy, like an unprecedented heavy fine, because I think that matters more than you can say you can vacate things and forfeit them, but we saw them on the field.
Yeah.
And you can hammer Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh, but they're not coming back to college football anyway. I do think Pat, whatever happens tomorrow, the Heat's going to turn up on Sharon more, especially if he gets suspended more games, because you think about it, had they not beat Ohio State, his seat would be pretty darn hot right now because they did not have a good year.
No, absolutely they didn't. And then you had whatever happened in the last Saturday in November last year, Bill, and then it kind of got a little less warm. But to your point, you're 1,000% correct. When we go national level, Bill, I want you to give some of our fine folks and some listeners out there maybe some sleeper picks for a college football playoff appearance. Is it all the big dogs this year? Who are you not talking about the most?
Well, I mean, you got to go to the ACC and Big 12 then, right? So, like, an unlikely ACC team that could make a run like SMU, why not Georgia Tech? You know, they've got a lot coming back. They got a fun game the first Friday against Colorado. I think that's going to be a lot of fun watching that one. And I love Brent Key and the toughness around him. If you're looking for a Big 12 sleeper, I think one that's gaining some steam is had a bad year last year, but Utah's always solid. They've got Devin Dampier back at quarterback, a new quarterback. They didn't never answer that question last year after Cam Rising got hurt. And they have a fun opener against UCLA. So, you know, if I tell you today Utah's going to win the Big 12, they're not ranked, it still wouldn't surprise me one bit.
I think you could honestly name anyone in the Big 12 as a sleeper team to win that conference, Bill. And I'd be like, yeah, you know what? That makes sense. I'm like, I don't know exactly how good the football is. I know that Brett Yormark thinks it's the best conference in college football, and we'll see that play throughout the season. But I know one thing. It's a great, fun league to watch if you have no stakes in it or no cheering. You have no allegiance, because every game you have no clue what's going to happen.
Right. And like I said, I like while you were – and I'm like, well, I could have just said TCU, you know, and probably came up with the same speech. You know, the football's a lot of fun. I don't know that they have a national championship contender in the conference, but they definitely could be that. And, you know, Illinois is probably the one we stick with in the Big Ten. You know, there's a high risk to that, but if Brett got them to the playoffs with what they have coming back, I mean, if we thought Cignetti was a fun press conference last year, imagine if we get Brett Bielema in the playoffs.
God, you're right. That would be so good. Buddy, always appreciate the time. It was great to talk to you again. Let's do it here again soon. Best of luck with the sports and school starting here in a couple of days and next week, and we'll check in again soon, all right?
See you guys soon. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Of course, there he goes, our guy, Bill Bender of the Sporting News, with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. What's Pat most looking forward to about the second Ohio State fall scrimmage? He'll try to answer that coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye. Get Eco.
Aaron?
Yeah, Jerry?
Do you know what I like best about our plumbers?
Tell me.
No matter how difficult, no matter how messy, no matter what it takes, they just dive right in and fix it.
Get Eco.
They dive right in.
Yes, they dive right in.
We've got scuba diving plumbers.
Get Eco.
You know they don't literally dive in, right?
Well, of course not. Not yet, anyway. The pipes are too small.
Get Eco.
They won't be able to literally dive in until I finish inventing my eco miniaturizing ray.
But until then, our plumbers will just keep on figuratively diving right in.
Yes, that would be best.
Jerry, do you know what I like best about our plumbers?
Tell me.
They're so good at their job, they make it look easy.
Get Eco. Get Eco.
Scuba diving plumbers, genius electricians, and better than average HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith, Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag Buckeyes Care.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
Bishop and Friends.
Initially, I was going to really make her feel very bad. And now, I think the tact I'm going to take is supportive husband.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Seller.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Cash for Clunkers continues during the Honda Summer Event at Lindsay Honda.
Listen up, Columbus. Cash for Clunkers is big money towards your next ride.
Up to $3,500 minimum for your trade.
Use it for the down payment, negative equity, or keep the cash.
Lease a new 2025 HR-V two-wheel drive LX or 2026 Civic four-door LX for just $299 a month. Zero cash down. Just bring us your clunker. Shop Lindsay Honda, the big Honda store now. For details, visit lindsayhonda.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Ryan Day's favorite radio show. Probably. Maybe. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Hanging out here at Yogi's in Grandview until 8 o'clock. Come by. Murph Dog and myself having a couple of $3 Coors Light draft specials on special until 8 o'clock. Pat, before we get to what you are anticipating the most out of the second scrimmage, we do have some news in the form of some black stripe alerts.
We do.
We got another black stripe alert! Hey! We had two today, at least so far, because they were putting this out a little bit later. Double down. You can do it, Nate. Just hit it again. We can just do it the whole segment. We got another black stripe alert! Two of them, all right? Yep. We get Nick McClarty, giant punter from Australia, who was here all throughout last year, Pat. He had his black stripe removed. And then also maybe more of note, not that Nick McClarty's is not, because specialists are football players too.
That's what I've heard.
Bo Jackson, running back, also had his black stripe removed today at practice.
Yeah, good for both those guys. I think this tradition from a fan perspective has sort of lost a little bit of its loss. Like, there are some people that are still really into it and
I
pay
love
attention. But I think, like, I remember when it first started and we would write about it, people would get very excited. We don't see as much of that anymore. But in the program, still a huge deal. And you can sort of see it in the videos they point out when C.J. Barnett's going wild and, you know, when they're talking, guys are cheering and stuff. But we've had the privilege to be out at practice when they do this. And the guys go nuts for, especially if it's a young guy. It doesn't really matter.
Well, as they should, right? I mean, think about inherently what it is. You are officially now a member of the team. And for someone like Nick McClarty, who had been here all last season, who we were going into the season like, man, this kid comes from Australia. He can boot the ball apparently 90 yards. Like that was he's 6'10" or however tall he is. I mean, that guy's been here for an entire calendar year plus. And so to finally become part of the team, I feel like, obviously it's a huge honor in and amongst themselves in the locker room. But, yeah, you have that taken off. Like, that's going to be such a big deal, and it's going to be so gratifying for them saying, you know what, I do belong here.
Right. We were talking to somebody the other day. C.J. Donaldson.
Yeah.
When he had his off, and he was like, I thought they were talking about like C.J. Hicks. Like they're talking about me. And he was just like blown away by this. And look, you've seen it. NFL teams have started to do it. I remember watching Hard Knocks when the Browns were on it, and they had a similar idea that had started that year.
The Cowboys, like they don't put the star on your helmet.
That's
maybe.
Right. Yeah. So look, if we're talking individually, we'll start with Bo Jackson. Like this is big for him. You think the running backs are gonna be James Peoples, C.J. Donaldson, carrying most of the workload.
Sonic and Knuckles.
Yes. Yeah. Like Travion and Quinshon a year ago. But you don't know what happens. You may have to turn to a third running back. And Bo Jackson may force his way into some of that, right? If he can do all the things that is asked to do of a running back at this level. And
you tell that to Coach Carlos Lachlan. Like, he'll tell you straight up. It's like, we could have a different running back every single week of the year.
He said we have 6 guys, So, but then with Nick McClarty, and you touched on it, huge leg. We saw that when we were out practicing. Big dude. Yes, Aussie rules player. But there were punts that went 90 yards. There were also punts that went 30 yards out of bounds.
Yeah.
And not in the good way. So I think this is a sign that Bo Jackson is taking the right steps heading into his freshman year, and that Nick McClarty, a year into finally really playing football, is showing the type of things that you want to see out of him, which is good because every once in a while the Buckeyes do need to punt the ball. He may not be the guy this year, but he's taking the right steps.
I remember a couple of years ago when punting was an issue.
Exactly.
And it was not a great situation, so you need to make sure that you have your punting game all good. All right, Pat, second scrimmage coming up here this weekend. We'll hear from Ryan Day in the 7 o'clock hour talking about coming off of that first scrimmage and what he's looking forward to for his guys for this week and the second scrimmage. But what are your burning questions going into Saturday's really massive scrimmage and likely determiner of who's going to be the 11 starters on offense and defense?
Well, we talked about one already, and that's the quarterback. And is this the weekend where one guy separates himself? And we touched on Julian Say and that consistency. Or can Lincoln Kienholz, show something to put, either extend this?
Well, I think he's probably already shown something if it's gone this deep.
For sure. So that's the number one thing, and we'll find out. We talked to Coach Day on Monday. But I think just does the consistency of Julian Say continue? Where do we stand coming out of that? That's going to be everyone's biggest question, right? But I think just continuing to progress is going to be important. And, that sounds obvious. But you want to see the things that you saw last weekend in the scrimmage either continue on a positive side or cleaned up, just like you would from practice 1 to practice 2 to practice 3 and so on.
Well, especially, given a guy who you talked to this week, the offensive line, right? Phillip Daniels has come on super strong. We heard that from Tyler Bowen. We heard that from himself. He sounds very confident. Ethan Onianwa in those one-on-ones was having a great time, was awesome, was a road grader, was pushing people all over the place. Then you get to an 11-on-11 setting, it's like, this is a little bit different than it's just a one-on-one blocking scheme, blocking drill for me. And so I'm also looking at the offensive line, too. I know we talked about the thousands and hundreds of permutations of different starters and different things that this offensive line can use, but you also want to get your 5 locked down. I know that we've talked about the depth there, but you want to make sure that with 9 days to go, this scrimmage will be on Saturday, that'll be 14, and then you get into single-digit days until you get to Texas. You want to make sure that your starters have reps available with each other. You don't want to be messing with that chemistry all the way up until kickoff time.
No, and you touched on the offensive line. What does that look like? Because at some point you need that 5 to be that 5. And you get a better sense of that in these scrimmages, which are about as close to a game-like situation as you're going to get.
Other than the quarterback being live.
Right. I know that in the past, and I don't know if they're doing that this week, they've done, hey, we're going to take the scrimmage over to the shoe, and we're going to run it like a game day. We're going to go in the locker room X amount of time beforehand. We're going to go out for warm-ups. Yeah, we're going to do the whole thing just so guys who haven't played at the shoe before, maybe spring was your only time, or guys that have just gotten on campus go through this and it really feels like, other than fans and having an opponent.
Yeah, you can't really replicate 105,000 people.
You could.
Other than doing it.
You could just have 105,000 people come out.
And you know
watch
what? I bet a lot of people would show up to that on Saturday.
I mean, you make it cheap or free, like the spring game. Weather's nice. I bet you could do it, but
I bet you'd be there.
I mean, if they're letting fans in, they better let me in. But that's the thing too, is all of that stuff. If they do go over to the shoe, kind of going through the motions, so that when you do it against Texas, it's not the first time they've done all this. That's key too. But yeah, I mean, I think it's the questions we've been asking. Offensive line stuff, quarterback, defensive tackle depth. Like, how is that continuing to come along? How much is Edric Houston involved?
Sure.
Because it sounds like he's ramping up. He said today he'll be good for week 1.
It was so funny in that line of questioning, and I don't know who was asking him the question, but it was like, can you kind of go into detail about what the prognostication diagnosis of your injury was?
I can't tell you that.
And he literally just looked at it. He's like, I can't tell you that. He's like, well, are you going to get back to practice? Are you going to be good to go? Like, how much are you going to be involved? He's like, I'll be good for week 1. And then there was another follow-up, and he was like, I'll be good for week 1.
Yes, so we'll see. I mean, it sounds positive for sure, and I think Coach Day saying, he's working his way back earlier this week and things like that. It looked like, I will say, for people who have maybe just heard the clips and haven't watched Edric, or watched the video of Edric's interview, like, it looked like he'd been going through some workout. It wasn't like
he had a nice lather.
Yeah, he wasn't just sitting there on the sideline like
he was
it
in
was
pads.
Yes, so I would imagine that they're ramping him up, and that's kind of what Larry Johnson said. And you want to see him go through the scrimmage. You want to see these safeties and things like that. So it's a lot of the same questions, but you just need to continue to get as close to a game as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And also, too, I'm looking forward to hearing all of the Max Clare stories coming out of the scrimmage, because I do think that he's going to be an incredible cog in the wheel of that tight end room. And I know that he's more of the receiving tight end, and we've talked about his importance to the team, but I think if there's one player on offense who we're not talking about enough, and we are talking about him a fair amount, I do feel like it's Max Clare, because you look at this offense, Pat, like, we don't really know what it's going to be. We know it's going to be a Ryan Day offense, but you bring in a guy like that with some serious receiving prowess, I'll be pumped to see him too.
Absolutely, and just how he's used, how open he gets. I mean, we saw it in the spring game, right? That touchdown he had. Like, that's a defense that knows they're going to use Max Clare, right? And he still got free for a touchdown down the middle. So other defenses, and look, Texas or whoever's going to be aware of Max Clare, but just when there's so many other things to think about.
You have to be aware of also everybody else.
Exactly. Yeah, and so how is he going to be used? I also think, how is his blocking come along?
Yeah.
Because while Keenan Bailey, pushed back a little bit when I asked him about his need to improve as a blocker, like, that is something that he didn't have to do a ton at Purdue because he was their go-to receiver, basically. So how is the steps gone? Because he talked about coming to Ohio State, I want to be a complete tight end.
Yeah.
Well, that's the key that he needs to continue to progress in.
To be fair to Max Clare, I don't know if anybody else at Purdue was doing much blocking either.
That's fair.
Michigan will find out their fate tomorrow afternoon about their sign-stealing saga. We'll get into that in the Pulse coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
It's your final splash of the season at Zoombezi Bay. Ride the new conservation tower one last time and splash in for just $19.99 after 4 p.m. Get your tickets at ZoombeziBay.com.
Zoombezi Bay. Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement, and that starts with the team who brings your vision to life. Our installers aren't just skilled, they're experts.
This is who we are. This is what we do all day, every day.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate, or go to bathsrus.com. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear. Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town.properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Nate Witterball. The NCAA is expected to reveal their rulings on the Michigan sign-stealing scandal tomorrow. Michigan and coaches are charged with 11 NCAA violations, 6 of which are level 1 violations. The Cleveland Guardians just got started going up against the Miami Marlins up in Cleveland, looking to bounce back from last night's blowout. Edward Cabrera is on the mound taking on the Guardians' Tanner Bybee. The Guardians sit a game back in the AL wildcard race. It's an off night tonight for the Cincinnati Reds. They'll return to action against the Milwaukee Brewers tomorrow night, just 1 game back in the NL wildcard. And the Columbus Clippers are in Toledo tonight, wrapping up a series against the Mud Hens. In the NFL, Florida prosecutors have declined to move forward with charges against former Buckeye Quinshon Judkins, opening him up to join the Cleveland Browns roster. And LA Rams quarterback Matt Stafford is expected to rejoin the team on Saturday. He's missed all training camp with an aggravated disc in his back. Breaking sports news, what happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hour number 2 of the Buckeye Show. For us here on this lovely little Thursday, Murph Dog and I out at Yogi's in Grandview. Come and hang out with us until 8 o'clock. $3 draft Coors Light specials. How you doing over there? You all right? How were those? Were you diving into the nachos during the break?
The nachos and the loaded fries, both are great. There were also pretzels with some sauce. I'm not a big pretzel guy.
No?
I don't mind them, but it's just
I love a good pretzel, especially those, like a good pretzel stick.
I hate you both.
Well, yeah, sorry, Nate. Sorry about that. We can bring some back to the studio for you if you want after the show, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, but the rest of the food, great.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything I've had here has been fantastic. Come and hang out with us, and if you're not able to tonight, well, good news for you. We're going to be back here next week as well. And then I believe, as I look to Jen over there, we will be back the Tuesday of the Texas game, is what the schedule is. So Thursday next week, Tuesday of the Texas game, leading in. Because, we got all kinds of stuff going on here. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all kinds of good stuff when we ramp up into the actual college football season, week number 1. Not to say that I won't be watching week 0, because that's what I'm going to be diving into.
What are there, 4 games that day?
I don't know how many games, but they're going to be on.
Either 4 or 5. I will watch all of them.
Yeah.
I don't care. I know, what is it, Kansas State and Iowa State?
In Dublin. Yes, the European takeover.
We were talking about this before we got into media availability today. Like, what does the attendance look like there? Because you've had Notre Dame go over there. Those are 2 teams that...
Was it last year, Florida State and Boston College?
Yes, yeah. So Florida State, I guess I don't know what the...
Well, Boston College, big. You have to think Boston, big, huge Irish delegation.
But these 2 were big farm, and not the biggest of names. So I'm interested to see, do people just go because it's different?
Yeah, I would go.
When we see, obviously you and I are both big soccer guys, but when those EPL teams come over here, assuming price is better than they are when those teams
but this
come.
is a regular season game.
Yeah,
this is
right.
This
but
is
for
not
them,
an exhibition.
If you're not a college American football fan, do you have the interest of just like, oh, this is something different? Let's go out there for the day and make an event.
I think you would.
I think you would too, but I just don't know.
I think you would. Nate, what do you got for us tonight? And why is the lead about the team up north and what they're probably facing tomorrow?
Yes, what a shock. The lead story on the Pulse today. Tomorrow, the ruling finally set to come down in the Michigan cheating scandal, the sign stealing scandal, the Connor Stallion scandal, whatever else you want to call it. The press conference is set for the morning. Michigan is up with 11 charges, 6 of which are level 1, which I would assume mean some lack of institutional control in there. What are we expecting tomorrow?
It's a great question, Nate, and I have no clue. I really have no idea. I think it kind of depends on which side of Twitter or X that you're on. It's obviously been Hammer's been coming for a while. Hammer's coming, and then nobody knows what's going to happen. Listen, from my perspective, and my perspective doesn't mean anything on this.
Yes, it does.
I think we've seen the NCAA not be the big bad wolf what it used to be, right? I mean, the whole Tennessee situation, Pat, came out a couple of years ago with the McDonald's bags and recruiting inducements and all kinds of different stuff. And I forget the amount of charges that they have. I know that it's not to the severity of what Michigan is facing, but I think when you look at this, I think it's going to be a massive monetary fine. I don't know what they're going to do with Sharon Moore, if it's going to be more suspensions.
I can't imagine they leave him with just, you can pick the 2 games you want to be suspended.
Yeah, I can't either, Nate, so I'm guessing there's going to be coaching suspensions, but if it comes to actually like making them ineligible for bowls, I don't know. Roster constraints, I don't know. One thing that I can pretty much guarantee you on is that there will be a massive monetary fine to go along with it. What is that number? I have no clue. The thing I'm stuck on, and we asked Bill Bender in the 6 o'clock hour, if you want to go back and listen to wherever you get your podcasts from on the Buckeye Show, I asked him about this. I'm like, am I reading too much that they're holding a press conference? Because in the ESPN article, here's what Pete Thamel and Dan Wetzel had to say. The Committee on Infractions, the long-awaited ruling in the Michigan advanced scouting case will be publicly announced Friday. All right? The NCAA is expected to hold a news conference early Friday afternoon. And I'm like, I don't remember the last time the NCAA held an actual press conference for anything, which makes me believe then, if you don't think it's going to be a lot, with them saying that it's going to be a news conference, that it is going to be a lot. I don't know. Let's all tune in and find out together. Because really, Pat, I have no idea. They're not the big bad wolf that they used to be, but at the same time, I think they're trying to get some of that power back. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been coming down the pipe. I really have no clue what to expect tomorrow when we get to early afternoon when this goes down.
Yeah, if you are an Ohio State fan hoping for the hammer, I would just set the expectations
But what
low.
is what's the hammer to you?
Like we've seen, either I think the absolute worst obviously is lack of institutional control. I don't think it's that, but like bowl game bans, postseason bans now, those type of things. I would set your expectations lower and then be surprised. That's the way I am kind of looking at it, because
expect to be disappointed, be pleasantly surprised.
Exactly.
And that's how I cheer for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, that's just how I live my life.
Yeah.
It makes it easier. But look, I think you made a really good point, and I was listening to Sirius XM today, and they had Nicole Auerbach on.
Okay.
And she had tweeted this out while on the show, so they asked her about it at the end, hey, we just saw you did this. What should we expect? And she made the point that the NCAA has tried to go away from punishing the kids that are currently in the program for these type of things. So
but then I would counter that. There's the transfer portal, so you punish the current program, and then you guys are free to leave whenever you want.
That's true. But based on what she said, I would expect, like you said, huge fine, suspension. I think it does have to be more than Sharon Moore. I think it would be, if he can't coach at Oklahoma, he played at Oklahoma.
It did, which is the reason why he hasn't been suspended for that.
Yeah, and I think, extend it to that game, and however much longer they want to do it.
One thing I will tell you is that Jim Harbaugh will get a monstrous show cause.
Yeah, same with Connor Stallions. Yeah. But, what does that mean? Do you think Jim Harbaugh's coming back to college football?
This will be his last job that he has. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with what I just said there. Who knows? I mean, Jim Harbaugh is a NFL lifer, it seems. College, just a football lifer in general. We'll go to the YouTube chat real quick. Shane said, expectations high. I can deal with disappointment. Yeah, I mean, you can do it that way, too.
Teach their own.
If you want. I don't know. Let's all tune in and find out together. Nate, what else you got for us tonight?
Well, while we're bashing Michigan a little bit, let's celebrate some Buckeyes. The AP released their all-time All-Americans list, the first teamers, and 3 Ohio State players made the list.
Hold on, I haven't looked at this list yet. Can I guess them?
Okay.
Orlando Pace is going to be on here.
That is correct.
Okay, Orlando Pace is going to be on there. Is a Chris Spielman on that
There
list?
is, in fact, a Chris Spielman on this list.
I don't know who the third is going to be. I don't know who the third is, Nate. Hit us with it.
The third is Jim Parker.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
OSU tying Pittsburgh for the most on the list. Your quarterback on the list was Tebow, and Dion, also a notable name on that list.
Yeah, I think you look at the running backs, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Right now, as I'm looking on this list on ESPN, Barry Sanders and Herschel Walker.
Those are good players.
Those are 2 pretty good running backs to have on your all-time All-American list. And then, Pat, can you guess the wide receivers without having this up? The all-time All-American wide receivers.
They didn't put Jeremiah Smith. Right?
They did not. No, they did not put Jeremiah
Surprisingly,
Smith.
no.
I think maybe when we go back and we do retrospective history in a couple of years, maybe.
Yeah,
but these 2 guys are also very good.
Lay it on me. I don't know.
It would be one Randy Moss.
I should have.
From Marshall, and then one Larry Fitzgerald from Pitt.
Okay, I probably, had I not wanted to stall the segment, I probably could have come up with those, but I'm glad. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
It does make sense. It was a very good list. I'm just so glad, Nate, that we're almost through list season. Do you have another list to give us as we approach actual college football being played?
I do, in fact, have another list. ESPN ranked their top 10 second-year breakout players. Sophomores or, redshirt freshmen or whatever. Your top 5 on the list.
Jeremiah Smith.
Which is cheating. Mike Matthews or Braylon Staley out of Tennessee. That is 2 people. That doesn't count. Number 4, Josiah Trader out of Miami. Number 3, Ellis Robinson IV out of Georgia. Number 2, Jordan Marshall of Michigan. And number 1, a certain starting quarterback who has not yet been named Julian Sayin.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? Austin and I have talked about this, Pat, and we can get your thoughts on it, that playing quarterback at Ohio State is the most alpha position of alpha positions. It's the most decorated thing I think you can get. It's the toughest position to play in sports. It has the most stress. It has a ton of caveats that come with it. But you look on the other side of that, if you succeed at it, it's incredible, right? And so I understand that. We have expectations certainly in Columbus for whoever's going to be named the starting quarterback. I think a national assumption is that Julian Sayin is going to be the guy. So it makes sense when we've talked about the arsenal at either Lincoln Kienholz or Julian Sayin's disposal. If you're going with second-year breakout players, it is Julian Sayin's second year in college football. He perfectly fits the mold for this if he is the starting quarterback.
Agreed, 100%. I think that he is the exact type of guy that this list is for, again, assuming he wins the job. And I think if he does win the job, I think he will be very successful. And I think that's a good list. I think the rest of those guys on there also make a lot of sense. And as you sit here in a Manchester United jersey, you can't say Arsenal this week. That's just not allowed.
What about a cadre? Can I say that?
Yeah, that
one's
cadre
of weapons? Fine. Yeah, I can't say Arsenal. We're going to take a step back in the week. Listen to what Ryan Day had to say at the beginning of it, assessing where he believes his team is at right now. You're going to hear from Coach Ryan Day next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Check out this great deal on fresh grapes. Red, green, or black seedless grapes are only $1.77 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Matty Ice here for McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. I recently brought a brand new Chevy Trax from McDaniel GM Superstore. It was by far the best car purchase I have ever made. And right now, you can get a 2025 Trax at McDaniel GM Superstore for as low as $20,995. They will treat you like family, just like they treated me like family. They're just a short drive north off Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get zero down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,500 off BX23S tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
Your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
Where more than 1,700 scientists are working on new treatments and new hope for every form of cancer.
You're making the choice to have the most advanced treatments, many of which were developed right here.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey to Central Ohio, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens at your latest forecast. We're looking at more quiet weather as we head through this evening and into tonight. Mostly clear and down into the mid to low 60s. We'll be back up into the upper 80s, low 90s on Friday with plenty of sunshine, low 90s and more sun Saturday. We'll stay in the low to mid 90s Sunday, though we could see pop-up chances returning as we head toward the end of the weekend. More rain chances next week. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
4 out of 5 dentists recommend this show. The other dentist is a Michigan fan. Yuck. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
They might not have a good day tomorrow, or they might have a good day tomorrow, depending on the NCAA ruling. Press conference announced for the NCAA. Not sure what time that is, like a noon or 1 o'clock. I don't know. It's early afternoon. Got my guy Murph Dog with me. We were hanging out at Yogi's in Grandview until 8 o'clock. Come by here. $3 Coors Light draft specials, Pat, and I know these
delicious
silver bullets are really looking us right in the eyeballs as we approach the 8 o'clock hour.
We're getting closer.
We are getting closer. By the way,
you had a buddy you You saw him.
I did see a buddy over there. His name is Doug. Very good. He's a very good friend. Go golfing with him a few times a year. Fantastic guy. It was actually funny because Austin and I were talking about our year-round golf pick'em league that we're in. And so he's one of the 4 guys who I'm in the golf pick'em league with.
Nice.
Yeah, so he was talked about last night and tonight. Yeah, it's my good friend Doug over there.
My buddy Ty came over, said hello earlier. Used to play soccer with Ty. He works here, which I did not know. So good to see him.
Tim May's son is apparently the king of the Yogi's empire, or just works for the brand. I don't know exactly what he does, but he dropped that news on me when he was hanging out with us a couple of weeks ago. If you weren't able to get out tonight, don't worry. We're going to be here next Thursday as well. And then the following week, game week, when Texas is up, Saturday noon, August 30th at the Horseshoe. Tuesday is when we're going to be here. So it's a little bit earlier in the week, but that's when we're going to do it. Pat, before we get to some Ryan Day sound, just want to preface by saying this was on Monday. You know, I know that a lot of things have changed. They had Tuesday to go through. They had Wednesday, Thursday, and then we'll get tomorrow.
That is how weeks go.
It is. You were right. Any media availability tomorrow, Pat?
Nothing. No, we're off tomorrow. Off, I use quotations there, tomorrow. No availability until we talk to I think it's Ryan Day and the offensive and defensive coordinator, or the coordinators, on Monday.
Okay, so Matt Patricia and Brian Hartline as well on Monday. So let's go into the time machine and go back into the week. Nate, and we'll start out at 45208 in the Monday folder about the things that this team needs to figure out before they get to that first game against Texas.
Well, I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out what your identity is, but you're also, you don't call it a laboratory. There's probably like 15 to 20% laboratory of like, all right, can we do this? Are we able to, look at some different things? Yeah, we have a little bit of time to do that, but we also want to know what our identity is. We also get to get back to fundamentals because we know how important that's going to be in the first game. And so, by the time we get to next week, we're still working on fundamentals. We're still going good on good, but we're starting to really, dive into game plan stuff 2 weeks out. So it's also good to install things that you're going to need down the road that you may not need in the first week. So, you're building those things up so that when you can pull them out mid-season, you have some stuff on film that you can work off of, guys that have physically done it, body repped it. That's an important part of the preseason.
We were kind of mentioning that a little bit earlier, Pat. It's not mass critical week here at Ohio State for any of the competitions, but it is a very important week for every one of the position battles going on, right? You're not through camp just yet, but you are reaching the end of the light, and that clock is undefeated, and before you know it, August 30th will be here, and you got to get 11 guys on the football field, or you feel confident rolling out against the Burn Orange against Texas.
Right, and it is the Burn Orange of Texas. It's not, insert non-power 4 school here.
It's not like you're starting with Grambling.
Right. So, and this has been a theme that's kind of come up quietly as these guys have talked throughout fall camp of just like, there's a lot of emphasis being put on this game.
Yeah.
Like, they're not.
There should be.
Yes, but they're not like, look, it's week 1. We're going to do our best type of thing, but we know that we've got a long season ahead of us. No, this game matters to these guys. I mean, you and I have talked about it throughout the offseason. Like, it's your first game since winning a national title.
Yep.
You're back at home. You're playing the team you beat in the semifinal, the team that
if you don't think that's a little bit of added motivation for these guys, you're crazy.
Right, and they are being talked about as the favorite. They're the number 1 team in both the coaches and AP poll. Ohio State's right there. I mean, number 2, number 3, depending on which poll you look at. But I think you want to you would really want to make a statement in that game, no doubt about it.
Yeah, 100%. We'll go to more Ryan Day, Nate. We're going to go through to 203 and where Ryan Day sees his team at currently right now.
I think some days, you feel like and then other days you feel like you don't know because there's so many new faces out there, on the field and coaches as well. And it's just different. I had a coach who I know well, came and watched practice, and he said, "Man, you guys are good." He goes, "You're different than last year, very different." He goes, "You're good. Last year's team was really good. Obviously, you won the whole thing, but this year's team's really good too. They're just different, And I agree. I think that we are different. Just different guys, different personality, edgy, competitive. But a lot of these guys haven't played a lot, so it's a different feel. It's a different personality, and so I think as we continue to forge our identities here on offense and defense, and then The first game will come and go, and then we'll identify what the issues are coming out of that game, which will give us some unbelievable feedback, and then we'll continue to build out throughout the season and build from there.
He was talking about a coach who he knew very well, being at practice and saying that you guys are good. It's different good than what you were last year. Who do you think that coach was?
I was going to ask you
if you had to guess who that coach was in the Rolodex of Ryan Day. And who is saying that? Who is your guess? Who's your Vegas favorite in the clubhouse?
I don't know. A lot of his guys are at other. It's not Chip Kelly. He's busy right now.
Could have been.
I mean, I guess, but
could have made a pit stop.
Yeah, possibly. I know he's got a connection with Belichick from being a Patriots fan and whatnot.
He's in camp.
He's busy. I assume Nick Saban's enjoying the last few days of the off season here. I don't know. That's a really good question of who it might be. Obviously,
Tress?
someone. Yeah.
I feel like he would have named. He would have named.
I think he would have just said,
right?
yeah, like we had Tress here the other day and whatnot. And maybe he did not intentionally. It would have been a good follow up. We don't get follow ups very often in those settings, so maybe that's something to ask.
Well, you
him.
got to take the Tim May strategy.
Well,
Ryan, who was at practice?
Yes, but Tim's been doing it a lot longer than a lot of us have. So, no, that is a good question. Maybe we can follow up on that. What I did like about that is just, the emphasis on, again, what's coming, and just how important this is, and also the fact that he said that this is a different team, and I think that's a really big thing. I still think this team is very talented, but I think these guys are hungry, and you don't always we saw it in 2015.
Yeah.
Not that those guys didn't want to win back-to-back national champions. I think they did championships.
Well, Bill Bender, when we had him on at 6:30, just mentioned it, right? Look at what LSU has done since they won their title in 2019. Now, I know that you lost Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow, and I know that was a huge part of what they had to win the national championship. And it was the same thing with Michigan, Pat, a couple of years ago. You lost your head coach with Jim Harbaugh. They'll find out their fate tomorrow. But look what they did last year. Outside of the last Saturday in September and that game plan and what went wrong for Ohio State.
Yeah, in the bowl game.
Yeah, it was a very meh season for Michigan. And so, your last couple of, Georgia State on the mountaintop, and they've been obviously very competitive through this entire thing. But these slides do happen, but it's not expected to happen here, certainly. It's not like anyone is now currently where you're at in the calendar thrilled that you won a national championship. It's go time.
Right.
It's time to play another season.
Yes, and I think Cameron Teague Robinson, who covers Ohio State for The Athletic, had a story today just about Ohio State not falling off for so long. We had the 1 year in 2011 after Tressel leaves.
That's it.
And every other year you're in contention, right? Or thereabouts. So you expect as Ohio State, are you going to go through and win another national title? We'll see.
Who knows? It's very difficult.
Look at the rankings over the years. When has it been that Ohio State's not been in the top 12? And now you're doing the straight seeding. Mm-hmm. So, you're expected to be there at the end. You're expected, even though you haven't done it the last 4 years, to win the Big Ten. You're expected to beat Michigan. Those are the expectations they know that they have to handle this season. And you're however many days you said from doing that.
Yeah, you are 16 days
there
away.
You go. I can't do that.
From opening up the season against Texas. We'll do one more from Ryan Day here, Nate. 2-1-2. And this surrounds the quarterbacks, and Ryan Day's pretty thankful that he's got a lot of leadership and experience to help these guys out.
Yeah, important. It's important to have guys like Carnell and Jeremiah, to have guys like, Carson, even Luke and Austin have played in games before. And I think coming out of the playoffs, there's got to be a lot of confidence for those guys who, went into the biggest stage and most competitive environment there was and performed well in one game. So anytime you have guys that have been around, Will Kazmarik's played football for us, and Ben has played some. Having guys around that have done it before. It's even Brandon Ennis didn't play a whole ton last year, but he's played. He made a huge catch in the national championship game. So anytime you have guys around that have done it before, it kind of gives everybody confidence, and then you just go do it. And like I try to tell these guys all the time, everybody had to do it for the first time. Everybody had that start, and you go. And sometimes you never feel like you're ready. You just got to go do it. And if you can do it consistently against the guys that we're doing it every day in practice, you got to have confidence knowing you can do it against the opponent, because we have as good a player as anybody in the country.
I think it was funny today when I was listening to Larry Johnson and all we've talked about perhaps maybe the lack of depth and everything, and he was very not combative against it, but like, yeah, well, these guys just haven't done it before. And I think he singled out Bids, right? And he was like, well, before you were a reporter, what were you? And Bids was kind of stammering through an answer. He's like, you had to be a reporter first, right? Like you just had to do it. And it's the same sentiment for Ryan Day. I mean, we remember C.J. Stroud's first start here. It was on the road against Minnesota on a Thursday night, right? Like, we remember that. We remember Justin Fields starts. We remember everything, Pat. And so you just, at some point, like, you have to trust your training and the development that you're getting at Ohio State, and you got to do it. And that clock is just ticking.
Absolutely. And I think the one thing that he highlighted there was, despite having lost so many of those guys, the 14 guys drafted and 17 key contributors and all that, they do have some experience. Brandon Innes, that's a guy, like, made that catch in the national, made some big plays last year. Bennett Christian, Will Kazmarek, the linemen, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, guys that everyone knows.
They're scattered.
And even some of the guys that you may not know if you're sort of more of a casual fan.
Marvell Reese has great experience.
Yeah, like that type of guy that they're hungry because they weren't the guys in a national championship winning team. They saw what it takes because they were in the program, and they have enough experience that I think you feel pretty comfortable. Would you like to have another group like last year where everyone's returning? Sure. But that's not going to happen every year.
I think everybody would. Every coach in the country would love to have a group like that coming back. Adam Jardy of the Columbus Dispatch. He's going to join the program. We'll talk some non-con Buckeye hoops, but more importantly, his live trip to Oasis and a dream lived out. We'll do that in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers, and you want to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Skyline is introducing a new chicken chili. Come get that world-famous Skyline flavor you love with a new protein option. Try the new Skyline chicken chili on Waze, Coney's, and all your Skyline favorites. At Columbus Skyline locations only while supplies last.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time for your daily dose of vitamin B. B stands for Buckeyes, just in case that wasn't clear. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Murph and myself out at Yogi's in Grandview until 8 o'clock, about a half an hour from now. $3 Coors Light draft special. So hopefully everybody who's out here is having a good time. And if you didn't make it out here, haven't made it out here yet, we're here next Thursday and then the Tuesday of game week. So you still got a couple opportunities to get out here and come and see us. Right now, we head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Check with our guy of the Columbus Dispatch. He is Adam Jardy. Adam, we will get to basketball at some point. But I know for over the last year and change, however long it's been since Oasis announced that they were getting back together, they had a concert. You and your brother made the voyage over to Scotland, I believe, to go and see them play. You said it could possibly be the greatest day of your life. Did that come to fruition, Adam? How was it for you? Tell us everything about the experience.
I hate him so much, by the way.
DJ Nate, you were there in spirit, man.
I know.
It was everything I wanted it to be and more. I mean, just straight up, I had the highest of expectations, and it blew them all out of the water. Every bit of the experience in Cardiff was like the stuff of legends. I mean, the entire town was like an Oasis fantasy camp for like 2 days. And I was surrounded by my people, and I was there when they took the stage together for the first time in 16 years. And Noel Gallagher got emotional seeing us. I cried my eyes out seeing them. And it was a day that I'm still coming down from that. And it's been, more than a month now.
It's pretty awesome, Adam. And I got that wrong. It wasn't Scotland. It was Wales. That's where Cardiff is. So it's my bad on that. I'm sure that the people in Scotland will yell at me about that, and in Wales for not knowing that was the case. So this is actually pretty cool, Adam, and what they're doing in the tour. They're hanging out over in the UK a little bit, and then they're coming over to the States. They're going to Canada as well. Are you still on for Labor Day weekend in Jersey to take your son?
Absolutely. I'm taking my Liam to go see that Liam in New Jersey on August 31st. Just booked our airfare the other day. I bought him an Oasis bucket hat when I was in Cardiff, so he is more than excited to wear that, and we're going to have the most unbelievable time. It's the summer of Oasis, man. I'm just happy to be alive.
It's bucket hat summer, so I'm glad to hear you did that, Adam. Did you listen to Taylor Swift on the New Heights podcast?
Oh, of course.
All right.
My wife is downstairs listening to it right now.
All right. What'd you think?
I love the two of them. Like, it
They're
just
great.
makes me happy listening to it. Like, I'm a big fan, and it just makes me feel like, after everything, I think that she's found her person. And I love seeing it, and I'm happy for her, and I'm happy for all the Swifties out there who are just, living another great era.
All right, let's get to basketball.
I kind of like the music.
We could just stick to music?
I kind of like this.
The Adam Jardy Music Happy Hour?
One-on-one, pro wrestling title match. Who wins, Adam? Taylor Swift or Liam Gallagher?
Well, if Celebrity Deathmatch taught us anything back when we were younger, Liam Gallagher can only be defeated by the comedian Gallagher. So I'm going to take Liam Gallagher in this situation. But
what about Liam and Noel against Taylor and Travis Kelce?
Uh-oh.
Yes, it's a bit of a size difference there.
We're going to need Miles Lane to weigh in on this one, because that's some firepower right there. But Travis is younger. I might give him the advantage.
Yeah, but Noel and Liam are soccer hooligans. They're fine.
Right. They could fight all day. Yeah, you're right. They'd wear him down.
They're Manchester City fans.
Yeah,
That's not soccer.
It's a plastic club.
Anyway, Adam, the non-conference schedule for the Buckeyes came out. I know you're not even thinking that far ahead, but is there a game or two for people that haven't really looked at it because they're locked into football stuff right now that you think people should be aware of before the Big Ten schedule gets going?
So the interesting thing to me in the schedule is that they play the first 6 at home. 5 of them are bye games, and then the one that's not is Notre Dame. So you're looking at a situation where realistically Ohio State should be 6-0 when it goes to Pitt for its first true road game. I think the schedule sets up rather favorably for Ohio State because they'll get a chance to work on some things at home against teams that they should beat, and then they'll go play Pitt on the road, and then they play some neutral court games. It's honestly a pretty favorable schedule where you don't have like a world beater team or two that you really got to face, and you have a chance to stack some winnable quad one games, which I know we love talking the quads here in the the middle of August, but it really does, I think, set them up to be in good position if they take care of business for an NCAA tournament bid, because every team that they have on their schedule is either a bye game or a winnable high major game, and I think that puts them in a good position.
He is Adam Jardy, the Columbus Dispatch, with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Yeah, I mean, you look back to last season, Adam, that game against, I believe it was Pittsburgh, right at the very end, right? Like, had that all the way up and then gave it away at the end. I don't remember if it was a buzzer beater or not, but I know that it was a tough loss at the very end, and that game was at home, so now you get a chance to go on the road and actually take them down here this year. But when you're talking about the minutia of just barely missing, being one of the first 4 teams out of the NCAA tournament, and I know that we're all looking forward to when you get into the conference, and hopefully you can avoid the slide that we've seen for the last amount of years. These games are every bit as important when it comes to the NCAA tournament committee and that being the baseline goal for this team this year.
Yeah, you're right. And that's one thing that it's easy for all of us to forget about as the season goes on. But, like, the non-conference games, in the eyes of the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee, matter just as much as the conference games. And whether a game is played on November 3rd or March 3rd, like, it all counts the same toward your NCAA Tournament resume. And so for Ohio State to have opportunities here to get some significant wins early against teams that it will be favored against, honestly, that puts them in a good position. Now, you don't want to, build up on that and then get to the Big Ten and have a big slide like we've seen in some of these last couple of seasons. But I do think that the schedule sets up rather favorably to where they, like I said, they're not playing Auburn in Atlanta this year. Like all the non-conference stuff is manageable if you take care of business. And so I think that if you're Ohio State, it's not, or if you're a fan, it's not the most exciting schedule. And I'll be the first to admit that. And I think we'd all like to see more entertaining games at the shot. But if you're talking about building a tournament resume, I think it's a pretty good step toward accomplishing that goal.
Adam, Buckeye fans will know Bruce Thornton. They'll know Devin Royal. They'll know Junie Mobley. They are probably aware of the transfers that have come in. But a name that keeps coming up when I talk to people is freshman Amari Bynum. I haven't seen him live other than the couple practices we got to watch. What does he bring to this program, and why are they so excited about him over there?
Yeah, they like his physicality, his athleticism, his shooting ability, and his ability to finish around the rim. I was at a practice 2-3 weeks ago, and I watched him he pulled off a give and go with Christoph Tilley, where he kind of had the ball in the wing. Tilley was in like the short post extended. He threw it to Tilley, cut to the basket. Tilley hit him with a pass. He cut through the lane and threw down this one-handed dunk that, like, shook the practice gym. And everyone kind of looked like, whoa. And I'm thinking to myself, when's the last time we've seen Ohio State's 4 and 5 men, like, successfully, like, have a give and go like that results in a dunk? And I just thought, that's a moment that I'm kind of filing away, is like, here's what this potential could look like. I think one of the things that's really exciting about Bynum as well is that, unlike the last several years where they've had impact freshmen and you've said, man, this guy needs to have a big role right away, he doesn't need that. Like, I would expect him to start the year backing up Brandon Knowles. And that very well could change, 2 months into the season. But they don't need him to come in and immediately produce at a high level. And he's really, like, the only guy that's in that situation. It's been so much these last couple of years of, like, we need 4 or 5 guys to take a step. It's like, we kind of know what a lot of these guys can do, and now you have a guy like that the ceiling, I think, is really high. So, I'm very excited to see what he looks like, because everything that I've seen and heard about him this summer has been glowingly positive.
Yeah, case in point, what happened with Junie Mobley last year, right? Like, comes in, and you have Michi, and then that whole situation unfolds. It's like, well, now you're going to play as a starter, and you're going to get 30-plus minutes a night. Welcome to life in the big city. Adam, before we get you out of here, what have you been seeing out of, and I know Reimer isn't listening, he's on PTO, but he is a college basketball sicko. He's very high on this Matthew Grujicic fella.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, he can score. Like, I watched him playing in the U18 Eurobasket tournament. He led the tournament in scoring. He didn't shoot particularly well. I think that's something he's going to have to improve on. And I was not impressed with his lateral quickness. I think defensively there's some work that's going to have to be done there. But, he's a guy that I think has a chance to contribute. I mean, he's going to battle for some minutes in that backcourt, and whether it's him or a guy like Tayson Chapman that ends up being like that 4th or 5th, primary guard, he's going to have that opportunity. And I think there's real upside there. It's really kind of a wild card. I mean, how that all translates to high major college basketball, we'll see. But clearly, he's an important offensive option, or certainly was for his German team, and we'll see how that translates down to the Big Ten.
Adam, always appreciate the time. Thanks for popping on with us here this evening. I was thrilled for you when you got to see Oasis live for the first time in 16 years over in Wales. I'm even more thrilled for you to take your Liam to see the real Liam. Have a fantastic time, buddy, if we don't talk to you before then, and make sure whenever you talk to Nate to rub it in again, all right?
I love Nate. I love you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
See you, guy. There he goes. Adam Jardy, Columbus Dispatch, with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. You know the Arthur meme, the clenched fist meme? That's just Nate back in the studio. That's just Nate right now.
He doesn't get food. He doesn't get to see Oasis.
No, Nate's having a bad night. Hopefully,
Adam and I have been going back and forth for like 8 years on who the bigger Oasis fan is.
Yeah, you know what, Nate? Next week, we're just going to do Oasis trivia with you and Adam for one show. That's all we're going to do.
I think we found the answer because he went to Wales and you didn't.
Yeah,
so.
Well, he had to work. That's why.
I had to work.
Nate was working. It's Adam's off season. We will do hashtag Buckeyes next. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Got one of those days that never stops? Try a stop at Speedway. Refresh your fuel tank, refresh your U-tank with 69-cent large Big Gulp drinks. And refresh the vibe for any drive. Refresh at Speedway with 69-cent large Big Gulp drinks with Speedy Rewards and try exclusive Mountain Dew Infinite Swirl flavor for a limited time only. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 8/26/25. See app for full terms.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement, and that starts with a team who brings your vision to life. Our installers aren't just skilled, they're experts.
This is who we are. This is what we do all day, every day.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
As America's largest custom home builder, Schumacher Homes believes a top-quality home should be affordable for everyone in the Buckeye State. We work with the leading architects to bring you the latest in design, and then you have the ability to make changes. Not just selecting finishes, but moving walls, adding rooms, literally customizing anything from the ground up. It's a misconception that custom homes have to be expensive. We work within your budget to build an amazing home on your land. Visit SchumacherHomes.com or any of our 9 Ohio locations.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut, to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Other stations in town have started using AI voices. It's because they're cheap and they think you're stupid. Well, we may think you're stupid, but we don't think you're cheap, damn it. We're live and local with real people. The Fan, Ohio's real human destination.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
When you're ready to sell your car, another reason to choose Hinderer Motor Company is the easy, fast, fair, and hassle-free way to sell. This is Justin Hinderer. We pay top dollar for your vehicle, whatever the make or model, and no purchase is necessary. Consider trading and get even more toward your next vehicle. Drive in today and leave with cash or get a great deal. See why it's a pleasure doing business. Just visit hindermotorcompany.com.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. #Buckeyes.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at the Waterworks and header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Murph Dog and I hanging out at Yogi's in Grandview. We'll be back next week. $3 Coors Light draft specials until 8 o'clock, coming up on the close of that. But fear not, because next week we will be here as well. You also have 11 minutes by my count to get here and guzzle some of those down. It's also a good time to let you know that we here on the Buckeye Show are brought to you by our great friends over at Coors Light. When those mountains are blue, you know that those suckers are as cold as the Rockies. Pat, you just broke some news to me, and I know that you and Nate were talking about it on the weekend show. You've got an interview set up with Camp.
We're working on it.
Which is not set up yet. You are working on it. It is the new theme song for Ohio Stadium, in which Ross Bjork had the press conference a couple of weeks ago talking about. Nate, I know that this is not in Patrick's wheelhouse, interviewing musicians. Have you ever done a music interview before?
I had both of them. I had two of their members in studio with me a couple years back doing what we call a guest DJ session. So, yeah.
Yes, it was very good. I know that you know a lot. Nate, if you were going to give Pat some tips about interviewing musicians, what would it be?
Don't ask them who their favorite band is.
Okay, good to know. I was trying to think, because I have talked to various people from bands before. I've met the drummer from 21 Pilots, but I don't think any of them were interviews. So thanks for it. That'll be good.
Just look up 2 interviews and see what questions they get asked all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. I listen to XM radio when I'm driving around, and most of the time it's on kids channel. We gotta listen to Old MacDonald Had a Farm for the 500th time in a day. But I do listen to Sirius XMU, which is channel number 35, on XM radio. And Josiah, Nate, I don't know if you listen to XM at all. He's really good. He does sessions that they have. It's a 30-minute breakout session where they do acoustic versions of songs, and it is very good. So you might have to employ Pat and give him some more pointers, because I don't know if you're too familiar. I mean, you know music, you like music, obviously, Pat, but Nate does this professionally.
Yeah, well, and the intent of this is just kind of a get to know you for Ohio State fans, and how did this come about? So we'll see how it goes. But yes, I will. I've already talked with Nate about trying to set this up, but I will use his expertise further.
Good job, Nate. You're an A-plus player in my book.
Do what I can do.
Yes, we will bring some food back for you. Actually, no, we won't. We won't do that. But maybe next week you can just be out here. We'll have Isaiah, who's in studio with you tonight. He'll be running it, and then you can just hang out with us over at Yogi's in Grandview. Before we get out of here tonight, our fan poll at 971thefan.com or on X at 971thefan. Are you looking forward to next Saturday's Week 0 college football slate? Yes, can't wait, or wake me up for Week 1. Yes, can't wait. It will be on all day in the Beam household.
Do you have the results?
I can pull them up.
All right. I am definitely.
If you stall for a few seconds.
Yeah, I am in the same camp. See what I did there? As you.
Way to go.
With this, I will be watching. Pretty much all day. It is also different. You have to watch the Buckeye games. If you're just,
I get to watch them.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, if you're a Buckeye fan and that Grambling game, for instance, is the blowout we expect to be, you can flip around. We have to be dialed in, and I'm stuck in the press box until who knows when. And so I don't get many days to just
3:30 kickoff.
It is, yes. I don't get many days to just watch college football. That's why I love the 2 bye weeks. Yes. Yeah. But that's
when did we start going to the double buys?
It just depends on the calendar, and how the schedule.
We should do it every year.
I agree. It should be done every year. I think it would make for better. Saw it last year, especially with the expanded playoff. But yes, I will be tuning in, because it is a day when I can just sit and enjoy college football, as opposed to having to work and hustle home after I get done to try and watch the end of the night game or whatever.
I won't tell you that I'll be locked in on every single game and I'll watch every single play, but I will guarantee you that it will be on TV from start to finish.
Yep.
It will be on TV all day. 60% said yes, can't wait. Okay. 40% said wake me up for week number 1. I don't care what it is. Doesn't matter. We're at here Yogi's in Grandview, and we've got a Georgia high school football kickoff Well, yeah, Buford, Georgia's playing. I don't know who the other school in Georgia, who
there
they
might
are.
be some Ohio State targets on that.
Yeah, there absolutely could be. It says 45 players ranked in the ESPN 300 and ESPN Junior 300 are playing in tonight's maybe not tonight's game. I didn't have time to be able to read all of that on the fly here, and I'm sure that they're ranked in the 24/7 Sports Composite as well.
Sure.
If they're ranked in the ESPN 300, any kind of football I get. Pat, you and I are preseason guys. I watch NFL preseason.
I was disappointed when I looked up today because I was like, ooh, what am I going to do when we get done with the show? There's no preseason football on tonight.
High school football?
There is high school football. So that, maybe I'll watch a rerun of old games or something. But
let me tell you what I just watched the other night. So Meredith obviously started school here this week, and I've been staying up a little bit later because she's been tired. You know, you got kids coming back here. You got a 2.5-year-old running around at the house. She's putting him to bed, and she's been going to bed pretty early, like 9 o'clock. Last night we watched an episode of The Bear till like 9:30. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to watch a movie. I watched Bullet Train the other day for the first time. You want to talk about a wild ride of a movie. Holy smokes. I didn't know what I was signing up for when I clicked play on it. That was one of the crazier movies I've seen in a while.
Wednesday night, Sarah went to bed, and I just put on The Departed.
Nice. I did that. Wednesday was last night, right?
Yeah.
I watched...
this was Tuesday I did it.
Okay. Last night I watched The Prestige.
Nice.
Just random movies that I've seen before. I'm like, I don't really want to watch a new movie. It's later.
Right.
So I fast-forwarded through some of the parts that I already knew just to get to the payoff pitch.
Yeah, The Departed, I was like, well, I'll put this on, and if I start to fall asleep on the couch, I'll just go to bed. Like, I've seen it enough times, but I hadn't seen it in a while, and it just, like, popped up on Netflix. So I was like, why not?
Before we get out here as well, big congratulations, Patrick.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to this. Philadelphia Eagles to induct former Ohio State Buckeye Malcolm Jenkins into the Eagles Hall of Fame. What a fantastic honor that is for him, given the way that he started career and then the way that he finished his career, to be inducted into an NFL's Team Hall of Fame, especially when it's the history and the lineage of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
Great job, Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
incredible.
Absolutely. Very cool honor for him. Anytime you can do that. But, yeah, I mean, he had a fantastic career. Will you start with the Saints?
Or did start with the Saints.
Yeah, so, and then obviously had a great career with the Eagles. Didn't quite get to the mountaintop Super Bowl-wise. Obviously, they've done that now.
There.
But
got there, didn't win it.
Yeah, so huge for him. That's really cool to have another Buckeye in an NFL team's Hall of Fame.
Who do you think the next guy for Ohio State to do that is? Cam Hayward?
Oh, yeah. That seems like an obvious one.
If he plays this year?
Yeah, he will. Even if he doesn't, I think he's still going in.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at his stats and look at his numbers, and you look at like the Hall of Fame board. He's borderline Hall of Famer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he gets in.
Pat, I had a great time with you.
Yeah, this is fun.
Here tonight.
I love when we come to Yogi. I love the studio too.
I do too. I like the studio. I like looking at Nate across the glass to see his fist clench when Adam comes on the show. But we will be back in studio tomorrow. Patrick, I will see you there at 6 o'clock talking more Buckeyes, all right?
Sounds good.
We got a great night lined up for you, too, on the Fan. We got like 3 hours of Browns talk coming up next. The Browns preview show is up next on the Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we air all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Let me ask you something. Is your money doing everything it can for you?
I don't know. How would I know?
Is it automatically saving for special events and keeping you posted on its progress? Like at Huntington Bank?
Oh, no.
Is it tracking your spending so you can make the best choices at the mall?
Nope.
Or setting limits on your teenager's debit card?
Definitely not.
Then it could certainly be doing more.
Yeah, sure sounds like it.
Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain, and it's the Toyota National Sales Event all month long at Toyota West. With over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles available, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're looking for. And right now at Toyota West, take advantage of no payments for 90 days, and every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty for qualified vehicles. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com. No payments for 90 days. Deferred payment. Interest accrued at time of inception with approved credit. Expires 8/31.
Soy has been keeping secrets, and it's ready to share. Soybeans are among the most versatile agricultural products. They are used in creative ways you may have never realized to make products we all love and use every day. Ohio is leading the way, developing new uses for soybeans to support our changing world. Soy low-key slays, and I'm here for it. Learn more about soybeans at soysecrets.org. This ad brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear. Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town.properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.